Just want to get your thoughts on these comments from Dave Sharma. He's got a bit of a think piece that's been out and about today. He says that both us and China, Australia and China, say that both parties need to start looking for a circuit breaker. And one of his examples being that we need to employ more Mandarin speakers and they should be used in intelligence and foreign services in the same way that we engaged Muslim leaders at the height of ISIS a couple of years back. What do you make of those comments and that pitch?
I mean, I have to say, I think they're fairly sensible, Pete. I mean, you would think that ASIO and ACIS are doing a lot of this already, and we know for a fact that the Chinese Communist Party does its very best in diasporas all around the world to keep contact and to keep control as much as it can in its diasporas. So it would seem pretty sensible. It has to be said that also one of Dave Sharma's very salient points is that he's calling for the government to be kind of clearer and to not try and protect people so much from the problems that are in the China relationships, but, you know, to be open about them, for example, when there are large-scale cyber attacks. So I do think that this is a pretty good strategy, 8-point strategy that Dave Sharma's announced, that he's revealed. Yeah,
he makes the point that these tensions are going to be around for a long while, upwards of 20 years perhaps. I mean, is that the kind of time frame that you would be thinking?
Well, it's interesting, just a couple of days ago when he did his big review of intelligence legislation, the former ASIO boss, former DFAT boss, Dennis Richardson, said that while he thinks the relationship might improve slightly from where it is in about 12 and 18 months, the past relationship that we had basically pre-COVID is, in his words, dead and buried. So essentially, nobody imagines that the relationship that we had under Hu Jintao's China, that perhaps Julia Gillard, John Howard had with China, that relationship is gone. They very much view us as a, you know, somewhat useful economic partner, but a strategic adversary in many ways. And I think that that is the way going forward that we're going to have. We're not going to have a close, cosy relationship with China. It will not be anywhere near as warm as it was, say, 10 years ago.
Yeah. Just onto IR, the government working to get that through. There's probably not going to be an answer on this until the new year. It's probably not going to be debated in any meaningful capacity until next year anyway. The government today, and Jonathan Lee's been reporting this morning, there's been more detail that has been fleshed out when it comes to these reforms. Do you see them, whenever it happens eventually, do you see them getting through?
It will very much depend on the crossbench, and if they can convince the crossbench that this is not work choices, this is, in Christian Porter's word, kind of gradualist, incremental, moderate reform. Of course, there are things that business will not like, such as the big penalties for wage theft, but they will think that the unions absolutely hate, for example, this what was revealed this morning, which is we will not... under these laws, employers can offer extra hours to casual employees without paying extra, and part-time employees without paying extra loadings. So the unions have pretty much made clear that they don't like the casual approach. Even though the government's trying to sell it as, oh, we're actually offering more protections to casuals, they see it as an entrenchment of casual work, which they basically see it as their mission to get rid of casual work in Australia. But the interesting thing today, Pete, is the other side of this IR package, which is the demerger bill. This is the bill that would allow union members to vote and separate themselves from mega unions. Labour has said it will support that bill, which is a big move. We all know that Anthony Albanese has had his fair share of scuffles with the CFMEU Victorian construction boss John Setka. This bill would allow other members of the CMFEU, especially the kind of manufacturing union, the forestry union, people who have had the mining union, people who have had problems within the union with John Setka, they now have the power to separate themselves. People like Marr, people like Michael O'Connor, they will soon have the power to separate themselves, and that will essentially see the CMFEU, the mega union, the biggest, most powerful, most aggressive union in the nation, broken up, and the Labour Party is backing it.